All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back. Happy to see all of you here, since many of you were not here yesterday. I hope you enjoyed your spring break. Let's start with our do now. All right, April is Poetry Month. Some of you thought I was making that up yesterday, so I had Miss Hannah come in and confirm that. April is Poetry Month. So every single day for the month of April, you will start off with a poem. You will start off with a poem. I see many of you already have out your poetry packet from yesterday. You already have your poetry packet out from yesterday. This morning, the poem that we are going to read is entitled The Pen. As you read it and you're thinking about the meaning of it, I want you to remember that we're talking about language that does what? What are we talking about? Language that does what?
Explain stuff in different ways.
Explain stuff in different ways, but what is our goal for this unit? Language that what? Language that what? Ariane?
That painted.
Yes, all those are literary terms. Yes, but we're talking about language that what? Inspires. Yes. Our whole unit is on language being powerful and language that inspires. Yes, what you two were talking about were literary devices that we absolutely use every day when we are interpreting anything that we read. All right, so we're talking about language that inspires. What does it mean again to inspires? To inspire. And we're talking about language that inspires. What does it mean to inspire? To inspire. And before we go any further, let me make sure everybody is sitting in slant, tracking the speaker, and following the expectation. Sanaa is tracking me. Jakari is tracking me. Kamari is tracking me. Nair is tracking me. Thank you. Language that inspires. Kamari, what does that mean if we say language that inspires?
I think it means like to make somebody feel good about something and like persuade them to want to do something.
Okay, to persuade them to want to do something. Somebody want to add to it? Isaiah?
To motivate.
To motivate? Okay. Brandon?
I personally think that inspires is like to incite like positive emotions.
To incite positive emotions. Okay. Ariane? To influence. Very good. Take a minute. Read the poem, The Pen. Read the poem, The Pen. Identify any figurative language that you see in the poem. And then at the bottom, write in plain English what this poem is about. Do that now. I have people that are grabbing highlighters to annotate their poem as they read. Noelle's already gotten started at level 0. Sahara has already gotten started. Back table of young men have already gotten started at level 0. Again, identify any figurative language that you see. And we want to talk about how this poem inspires. Everything that we read in this unit is what they consider a powerful piece. It has a powerful message. It inspires. When you're done, at a level 0, put your pencil or your highlighters down so I know that you are ready. And I'm gonna set our timer for 5 minutes. When you're done, put your pencils or highlighters down so I know you are ready. I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes. As the people who are annotated for figurative language they see, they've highlighted that figurative language, they wrote what type of figurative language it was, annotated it right on their paper. You have 3 more minutes. Many of you like you are finished annotating. If you want to discuss with your table mates what this poem is about, that's absolutely okay. Discuss some of your findings with your table mates. So what is it? Just about a PM? Okay, explain. What is it about? Yes, how do pen influence people's lives? So is it really a pen influence people's lives, or is it their what? What they what? Not what they do, but what they what? What do you use a pen to do?
Oh, right.
What they write does what? It inspires people. Look at these now right here. The pen saves, the pen cross seas, the pen stops hunger. How can the pen cross seas? How can the pen stop hunger? What does somebody have to do in order to do that? Look at those 3. All right. What did you wait? So we read things that come out different iterations, right? Okay. What else? The pen stops
Basically, I'm gonna just add on to what y'all saying. I feel
Okay.
like the person,
Alright.
they're trying to inspire the reader.
What'd you all say? What do you think this means? The pen saves, it cross seas and stop hunger.
Also, by repetition, first line, and the next line.
All right, clap once if you hear my voice. Clap once if you hear my voice. All right, right on time. I heard some great things as I walked around the room. All right, can I have a volunteer to read this poem loud and proud, please? Jakari, go ahead. Everybody else following along on your paper. Go ahead, Jakari.
I am a pen,
Speak up.
leaping for the blank white page, eager to write and draw inspiring tales, tracing lines up and down the paper, feeling the emotions of the desktop below me. Drawing creativity with ink, I place black upon white like a chessboard. I like to write stories with my swift motions. I feel energy rush through me when I create worlds with my mind. Like a pencil, I am not messy. The pencil lines smudge at random. I am the swift and sturdy pen. I create stories in the blink of an eye. Ink stating, I race up the page. Line sketching back and forth, I create ideas on paper. I am the mighty pen. The pen saved the lives. The pen cross seas. The pen stops hunger. How humans use the pen. They sketch laws and rules. They write letters and essays. The pen inspires. I inspire. I am the pen.
Very good. What word do we see in that last stanza that speaks to our unit? What word is that?
Inspire.
Inspire. What does this poem mean? First of all, what piece of figurative language is used throughout this entire poem? What piece of figurative language is used throughout this entire poem? Yes, Jalay? Personification. What does personification mean? Somebody? What does personification mean? What does it mean? Unique? Giving non-human things human traits. What's being personified in this poem? What's being personified in this poem? Arian? The pen. The pen. What does this poem mean? Why do you think we would talk about this poem or read this poem? Why is this a poem they would give us to read to talk about language that inspires. What is this poem saying? What is this poem saying? Aubrey? Hold on 1 second, Aubrey. I want to make sure at all times that when someone is speaking, we are tracking the speaker. So our pencils are down, we're sitting in slant, and we're tracking the speaker. Go ahead, Aubrey.
How writing influences their lives.
How writing influences our lives. What else? What else? Anybody want to add to what Aubrey said? Anybody want to add to what Aubrey said? Jakari?
I think it means, it inspires or changes people's lives with the words. They hear.
Inspires or changes people's lives with their what? With their words. Give me evidence from the poem that lets us know it changes people's lives with their words. What evidence from the poem lets us know that it changes people's lives with their words? Because we always, at all times, have to have evidence to support everything we do. Okay? Brandon.
So in the sixth stanza, it says, humans use the pen, they sketch laws and rules, they write letters and essays.
Thank
It just
you.
shows how they decide to use the pen to help others.
Yes. Very good. This poem ties directly into what we'll be talking about today. I need all pencils down. I need all eyes on the board in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Our unit today is going to take us in a different direction than we've been going in. The last couple of days before spring break, we were reading language that inspires, and we were looking at already gave this in there. I'm sorry. We were looking at political speeches that inspire change. Today we're going to read a poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar called We Wear the Mask. We're not going to talk about it out loud. It is an introduction to the literature that we'll be looking at today. Literature still that inspires. Read this poem on your own, just on your paper, annotate it, and think about what it means. Read this poem on your own, annotate it, and think about what it means. We Wear the Mask by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We're not going to talk about it out loud, but it opens the door. It's our opening to the topic that we'll be speaking about this morning. Our language will be reading that inspires.
You want us to read and answer the questions?
Nope, don't answer any questions. Just read it. Just read it. I see some people have created a notice and wonder chart on their paper. That's fine. I like it when I see you using those strategies that you've been taught when reading something new. Give you just a minute to read through this poem, We Wear the Mask. Write for a million papers what you think it's about. We're not gonna share out loud. It's an introduction to what we'll be reading today. Write on your papers for me what you think it is about. I'm coming around to check. I notice people are annotating for literature, literary devices. I see that there's repetition in the poem. I see people speaking to the title about what it means to wear a mask. I see people asking, has the person been hurt? Does the person have 2 different personalities? Is someone hiding? Clap once if you hear my voice. Clap once if you hear my voice. Put your pencils down, put that pointer to the side. And go ahead and face the board in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you're tracking me. Mr. Washington is tracking me. All right, good, we're at 100%. That poem is just to open up your mind to the literature that we will be working on today. We're gonna come back to that poem. Right now, in your journals, create a notice and wonder chart for me. Create a notice and wonder chart for me in your journals. We're gonna be looking at a new topic today, a topic that's not new to you, but new in this unit, all right? Some information that we'll be looking at today. Many of you already know about this topic. We've talked about it before. I'm sure you've talked about it before this year. Keep in the back of your mind, we're talking about language that what?
Inspires.
Language that inspires, okay? Everybody have the notice and wonder chart? All right, our gallery walk for today is going to be digital. And I'll give you one more minute because I have people who are still writing and I don't want to leave anybody behind. So when you're done with your notice and wonder chart, you're facing the board, your pencil is down, so I know you are ready. Our gallery walk today is going to be digital, meaning I'm going to show you some pictures, all right? From what I show you, write down what you notice, any questions you have. Think about that poem we just read, because that poem we just read ties directly into some of the photos that you are going to see, okay? And I'll dim the light for a second to make sure you can see. Kendall, dim the light for a second to make sure everybody can see. Right, what you notice, any questions that you have. Good readers should always have questions. What you notice, any questions that you have. What you notice, any questions that you have. I know somebody is thinking, she said everything tied together. We done read about a pen. We done read about somebody wearing a mask. Now we're looking at these photos. How do they all tie together? Thank you for asking. I'm gonna ask that same question in a few minutes to see who can make the connection between the things we'll be doing today. Who is this? Don't tell me. Write it down. It says annotate any observations or questions that you have. Anybody already have an idea about what We Wear the Mask is about? After seeing the pictures, give me a thumbs up if it makes more sense to you already. Okay. All right, what did you observe from the digital gallery walk? What questions do you have? Take 1 minute, discuss what you observed and any questions that you have with your table mates. Do that now.
I got it. Like, what if we have a conflict on how
The slave trade was
that they won't be doing
It was like, oh, that's, I think that was when they was like, hey, how do you go back to fly?
That's the first one.
This one.
That was the second.
Oh, that's the
I was
same one
thinking
they
like,
got separate.
Which means it was
oh, that
picture.
And I know the photo was like a slave ship. And I saw Frederick Douglass.
You know, he was in slavery, which means they was doing something.
And I think
They're hiding their true
I
selves.
think they bad covering up their true identity.
Some slaves were being treated
Oh, yeah, because they are slaves.
When I saw the cover,
So, Frederick Douglass is right there.
I mean, that's old.
I think that picture was during slavery. I think that picture, I think that was stand up for their rights.
that's why all the white men got
Douglass was on the big. I saw his picture.
Some slaves, okay, slaves are working, there, I saw Frederick Douglass.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
So he was on work. Slaves were in auction.
And the struggles he had to go through.
With slavery.
All right, somebody tell me something that you observed from these pictures. We're gonna talk about what you observed, any questions you have, and what you think we're going to be reading about today. And one hint was, there was only one picture of an individual, so it should give you an idea, and hopefully you know who that individual is, right? All right, first of all, what are some of the things that you observed? Some of the things that you observed. Some of the things that you observed, all right, on our noticing section. And I'll say it here for you. Nair,
I seen slaves working.
okay? And I'm annotating on the board, so if it's something you need to add to your chart, feel free to do so. Kamari,
They was having like an auction kind of,
okay? What was the auction for?
slaves.
Being what?
So,
I knew.
Okay, Brandon?
The first two images were people being, black people being taken
Okay. Ariane?
The pictures were like in a sequence. At first they were like taken and then they were sold off and then they were working.
Excellent observation that the pictures went in a sequential order of how things happened at that time. Very good, Nair.
I noticed Frederick Douglass was pictures of Frederick Douglass.
All right, he noticed a picture of Frederick Douglass. Yes, Noel?
I noticed that it was a white man standing over the blacks in the boat.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? We know good readers always have some questions. Any questions? Yes.
Were the slaves about to get sold?
Okay. You mean in the pictures?
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what this picture here is of an auction that they were having. Any other questions? Any other questions, Jakari?
Can we go to a specific picture real quick?
Which one?
It was the one where they're left, not that one. That one.
Which one?
Specifically the one in the upper, left corner.
Yes.
I wonder what they were doing, cause I really couldn't tell.
So it looks like they're some of them are playing some instruments.
Cause it looks like one of them was showing it.
Maybe they are. Okay. Great question. Anybody else? Anybody else? One more and we need to move on. Yes.
like, I wonder how much they was getting sold for.
Okay.
I think they was getting sold for like food.
All right. So let's discuss this. We have. Give me 1 second. Make sure everybody's on track, sitting in slant, facing the speaker. Unique is tracking me. Kendall is tracking me. Okay. Let's talk about it. So, based on the pictures that we saw, what do you think our powerful piece that we're going to read is going to be centered around? What is it going to be centered around, this powerful piece that we're going to read, this piece that inspires, this language that is powerful that we're going to look at? Aubrey?
Well, I just forgot.
You forgot? Okay, somebody help her out. Come on.
Slave. I think, Frederick Douglass was like writing something, about it and it just made people feel a certain way.
Very good. You're moving ahead of us, but yes. So we assume Frederick Douglass has something to do with this. He's the only actual image of an actual person that we can identify. Ariane?
How writing is used to like, basically to save people or like influence people.
She said how writing is used to save or influence people. Why would you say writing? Why would you say writing? What do we know about Frederick Douglass that will make us think? First of all, the first poem we read was called the what?
The pen.
The Pen. Talked about the power of what?
Right.
Writing. Then we look at these pictures that deal or show us different aspects of slavery, and we see Frederick Douglass's picture. Who's already making some connections? We read the poem, we wear the mask. Who has a better idea of we wear the mask? Who's making some connections here? Okay. Yes, Brandon.
Okay, so
Hold on 1 second, Brandon. I want to make sure everyone is tracking the speaker.
okay, so when I was looking over these ones and I saw the picture of Frederick Douglass, it immediately made me think that this is about how writing from black people and people of color has affected other people of color and how it's changed the minds and hearts of other people. And
How writing has changed the minds and hearts of other people. Excellent. Okay. All right. So this morning we are continuing to discuss language that inspires. As I've said it over and over again, the power of language. We will be starting our new text this week entitled The Narrative and Life of Frederick Douglass. Like many of our texts, we don't read the whole book, but we do read certain sections from the book. Okay? Go ahead and take a minute and write down your objective in your journals. Take a minute and write down your objectives in your objectives, in your journal. Yes. Can I have someone to read our objective, please, as well? Go ahead, Noel.
I can determine a central idea of chapter 1 and 2 of narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass using textual evidence.
Using textual evidence. And narrative has a typo. Let me fix it. Has an extra T. Uh-oh. There. When you're done writing your objective, put your pencils down. Yes.
I was about to ask, wasn't he a slave escape?
Yes, he was a slave that escaped. Yes.
So, well, I ain't gonna ask him now.
Okay. You'll have time to ask questions. Write your I can. I can determine the central idea of chapter 1 and 2 of the narrative of life of Frederick Douglass using textual evidence. So in order for us to be able to do this, I know you're still writing, but somebody help me out. What is the central idea? What is the central idea? What is the central idea? That's what we're doing today. We always should understand the vocabulary and the language in our objective, where it doesn't help us. What is the central idea? Central idea. I know some of you are still writing, but somebody really quickly. So the central idea, yes, I need you to sit in slant though.
I'm not really sure.
I need someone that's sure. What's
the specific part of the text is about?
yes? Can you add on to what he said?
The central idea is about what the text or story, or just one of the paragraphs is about.
What it is mostly what about? And central idea is a new term. What did they used to say? Instead of central idea, they would say what? Main idea. So if you ever see main idea, central idea mean the same thing. Our ICANN also says we have to use textual evidence. What does that mean? If it says we have to use textual evidence, what does that mean if it says we have to use textual evidence? Unique?
We have to use evidence
evidence directly from the what?
Text.
Text. Meaning we don't have to make it up. Whenever we're reading something, we never have to make something up. At this point in the game, in 7th grade, you should know that you need to use textual evidence for every single thing that you do. Okay? Everything that you do, you need to use textual evidence. I need everyone tracking the board in 5, pencils down, sitting in slant. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we know that whenever we read, we're looking for certain things. Sometimes we're looking for author's purpose. Sometimes we're looking for the message or the, what's the word for message? Theme of the text. Today we are looking for the central or main idea. We're going to look at the first 2 chapters of Frederick Douglass. I'm going to actually break the chapters up, which is called jigsaw. So one group will have chapter 1, one will have chapter 2. We're going to identify the central idea of those chapters using textual evidence to support it. Always. All right. And when we're looking at the central idea, who remembers from the last time we looked at the central idea, how much evidence they normally, or pieces of evidence they normally want us to have? How many pieces of evidence they normally want us to have?
2.
3, 5, at least 3.
At least 3. At least 3. If you have more, that's great. But they want us to have at least 3. Okay? So I am going to, Isaiah, come back. Give 2 groups chapter 1, and I'm going to give 2 groups chapter 2. So that way we have an idea. Give your 2 tables chapter 1. So we have an idea what the first 2 chapters are about. All right? The chapters are very short. Go ahead and read your chapter, and then you're going to discuss with your table mates what is the central idea of the chapter. Then we're going to discuss what is the central idea of the chapter. You have identifying textual evidence to support. Everybody clear?
Do we go like the groups or like do we just say it?
You can stay at your tables. You can stay at your tables, and I'll give you time to discuss it with your groups. That's a great question. Yes. You should get it on back. Clap once if you hear my voice. Clap once if you hear my voice. Put your pencils down and look at me. I want to make sure my directions were clear and precise so everybody understands. Okay? That group, you have chapter 1. This group, you have chapter 2. You're going to read the chapter, and then you're going to discuss with your table mates what is the central idea of that chapter. After you identify the central idea, what 3 things do you need? Textual evidence. I'm going to put your graphic organizer on your table that asks you for the central idea, and then those 3 details or evidence to support it. The details come directly from the what?
Text.
Directly from the text. Go ahead and get started.
Okay, so.
Can we do it with the table?
Yes, you can.
I would like in
33 minutes. We 33 minutes.
I have no accurate knowledge of what age never
Superintendent. I spent 10 years of childhood on this plantation in my own national family. It was with tears that I witnessed the bloody transaction story in the first chapter.
I have no accurate knowledge of my age.
Okay. Yeah, I spent 10 years. I spent 2 years of childhood doing youth plantation in my old master center. It was that I really
All right. So just from what you've read so far, can anyone identify anything that you've learned so far from your chapter? Something that you've learned so far from your chapter. Jakari, give me one thing. Hold on 1 second. We're sitting in slant. We're tracking the speaker. Go ahead, Jakari.
One thing I identified so far is most slaves don't know their age.
They don't know their age or their what?
They don't have any record of their age.
No record of their age. Anybody else want to add to that? Noel?
I also can see that they were not like treated like human beings because I'm adding to what Christ said. They didn't know anything about themselves. They didn't know their age. They didn't know their birth. They didn't have no record to show them.
Okay. What did they both just do? They identified something in the text. Jakari identified something in the text, and Noel actually gave what for it? Evidence. Very good. That is what I want to hear when I come to your groups, since you're working together. And remember, when you are finished reading your chapter, don't forget to complete your graphic organizer. Go ahead and keep working. Excellent job, you guys. Keep working.
And as I received my first impression
Martin, here's what she can do.
of slavery
So do you think like slaves
This chapter shows this.
I do not remember to have ever met a slave who could tell a good
To be such by all I
there were rings engraved
They were seen, not even as a penny, they were seen as chattel. Chattel was like a cow, a horse. If somebody has horses on the farm, they don't know what horses are going away. That's not something to be
I read the entire
chapter is that because they were not treated as human beings, that may be your idea that this chapter shows that slaves were not treated as human beings, and then those details will be the ones.
Alright.
This or I knew her.
The opinion was also whispered that my master was my father, but of the correctness, I know nothing. The means of knowing was withheld from me. My mother and I were separated when I was improper. Before I knew her as my mother, it was a common custom. In a part of Maryland, which I ran away to part children.
Or knowing that age or anything like that, meaning I think it was necessary. Because like I was just saying, they were seen as chattel. Chattel. You have a lot of people that you heard. Nobody knows what
Because married slaves, their names were Peter,
The nearest estimate I can give makes me now between 27 and 28 years of age. I come to this
Rich, and Jay. These were
All right. As I come around, I'm hearing very great conversations around what the chapters are about. All right. Again, you are identifying the central idea of the chapters. When you're done, we'll have somebody that has chapter 1 to share out about chapter 1. Whoever has chapter 2 to share out about chapter 2. So we have knowledge of what's happening in both chapters. Make sure you have textual evidence to support your answer. And when you are done, you are completing your exit ticket. Everybody clear? Yeah. Okay, go ahead and finish.